baby. How are you? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm like, how are you? So did you get a chance to look into anything that we talked about the last time? No? Do you like remember anything that we talked about?
No, sorry.
Like, one of the things was the pedophilia problem. Remember we talked about the Australian Royal Commission and that there was like this big case going on over there that you didn't know about, and I said, oh, you should check it out. And you said you will.
I don't remember.
Or you don't remember me?
I don't remember you.
You talked to a lot of people?
Yeah.
Well, just to remind you, like, we had talked about a commission that was investigating different institutions in Australia, and one of the institutions was the Jehovah's Witnesses. They basically were trying to find out how your organization handle child pedophilia within the organization. And long story short, the commission, which is part of the government in Australia, found that the Jehovah's Witness organization is grossly lacking in terms of how they protect children that have been molested. Like, I was raised in this organization from birth, and I was molested by an elder for many years. Then as I got older, I decided to leave. But because I decided to leave on my own, I was in this fellowship, my parents still shunned me. You know what I mean? So it's very, very hurtful for a person like me who chose to leave for my own reasons, but yet I still get penalized, you know, like I still get punished for it. And it's been very traumatic for me, like so much so that I had to go to like therapy just to like deal with it. Because like when I was growing up, like you guys, whenever somebody would get this fellowship, and again, I'm not this fellowship, but whenever somebody would leave, you're told that it's because you know, they don't love Jehovah anymore, they turn their backs on the organization and stuff like that, and they just want to party and have fun, you know. That's what I was told. But like, I wasn't any of that, you know. I was like on my own will, you know, just to leave this organization that was hurtful to me. But the consequence was like not something that I think would be acceptable in our society. You know, like if you had a friend, right, at school you're talking to, and their parents are, you know, like Catholics, and they go to church every Sunday and stuff, and you were like talking to them and say, hey, you know, and you're preaching to them basically. And he goes, oh man, I can't leave because if I do, my parents won't talk to me, or I might lose my friends. It's the same thing. It's the same thing like when you grow up a Jehovah's Witness. Because once you become baptized, you can't just leave. They tell you can leave, but you know what the consequence is, right? What is the consequence?
For being baptized?
Well, yeah. If you're a baptized Jehovah's Witness and you want to leave, what happens when you leave?
When you're baptized, I don't think you would want to leave.
Huh?
When you're baptized, I don't think you would want to leave. You're making a commitment.
I mean, yeah, not everybody leaves.
Yeah.
But, you know, for those that want to leave, what do you think happened to them? Do you know?
Want to leave?
Those that leave, you know, like say, I don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness anymore.
Well, that's their choice.
Yeah, that's their choice, right? And so they leave. And then what happened to them? They lose their family, right? They don't talk to the family. They don't talk to them anymore.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah, like if they just want to leave, then that's their choice. I know a lot of sisters that, well, they're...
You know a lot of people that have left, and you still talk to them and stuff?
No, I haven't, because they left. I don't have a car or anything.
What?
I don't have a car or anything, so I haven't.
No, I know. But you know what I'm saying, right? If somebody leaves and they're baptized and they say, I don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness, you're taught to shun them, right?
Yeah, they get expelled. They got expelled, like, out of the congregation.
Either if they get expelled or if they just leave.
Yeah, it depends on what they did.
Yeah.
Like if they did a sin, that's something that God doesn't like, they get expelled. That's why they get shunned.
That,
because they don't, because they're they might cause other people to get like make them do the bad mistake like they did.
I can't. I'm sorry.
Like yeah, so that they could like make them do something also bad. That's what they're trying to show
like bad
them.
influence.
Yeah, bad influence.
Yeah. The only thing with that though is like whenever, like when I was growing up, whenever they would say somebody would leave, they don't tell you why.
Yeah.
So like they could leave for any reason, and you don't know if they're bad influence or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for example, me. Let's say if I was a scholarship, and I left, you guys would not talk to me, even though you didn't know that I was molested by an elder. You know, you wouldn't know any of that, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you think about that? Is that fair? Is that a fair system?
Yeah, that's not a process.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair. So, and that's been the policy ever since I was a little kid growing up. You know, you can never go to the elder and say, hey, you know, why did that brother get the scholarship? Because they won't tell you they won't tell you other than,
That's
you know.
between you.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's between, you know, that person and the elders, or that person in Jehovah, stuff like that. Yeah, so like a person like me that, I mean, think about that. An elder molesting me for many years, and I never told anybody because I was just a kid. I didn't know any better, you know. I was scared and stuff like that.
Well, I don't know. Things have changed. Like now we have like books and like I don't know if we have them or anything, but there's like they show like we even have videos for like kids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sophia and
Yeah.
Caleb.
Caleb.
Yeah.
Caleb. Yeah.
Or just yeah.
Well, it goes back to the Australian Royal Commission, though. When was it? Like 2 years ago? So they found over 1,006 pedophiles happen in the congregations over there in Australia, and not one of them was reported to the cops, to the police. I mean, like, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And when I asked my parents, who are Jehovah's Witnesses, about it, they didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the thing that I've noticed with the Watchtower is that they don't like to let you guys know what's been happening within the organization. They just want you guys to stay focused in preaching and stuff like that, and studying and all that. But what you guys don't really know is what's happening behind the scenes. Like all those years that I was active and stuff, I didn't have a clue that, for example, they were part of the United Nations. Yeah, for 9 years. I didn't know that.
What's that?
Huh?
What's that?
Oh, you don't,
Yeah.
you don't know what the United Nations is?
Yeah.
No? Do you remember the Revelation book, or you guys still have the Revelation book? It's like a red book.
Yeah, we said.
Yeah. So when I was younger, that would be one of the books we studied. And in that book, in the book of Revelations, it talks about the wild beasts and all that stuff.
Yes.
So they compared the wild beasts to the United Nations, which is based in New York and stuff like that. Yeah. So, so that was a bad thing, right? The United Nations. So the Watchtower said that they were an evil organization. But for 9 years, the Watchtower was a member with them. And I didn't know this. And so I had to actually email the United Nations to verify, hey, is this true? You know, because I saw it on the internet, and we're told not to believe stuff on the internet. So I'm like, okay, well, let me just email them. I got the email back, and they said, yeah, they were part of the United Nations for 9 years, from 2001 to like 2009, something like that.
But they're no longer anymore, so.
Not, as far as I know, not here in the U.S., but they still are in the UK, in Europe.
Oh.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just one thing that I learned, which, you know, to me was a huge deal. The other thing I found out was that they invest in stocks and bonds. They make money off of companies that you would be like, what? They do? And again, you don't have to believe me, but you can go. You guys are young. You go on IRS.org, and you enter in Henrietta M. Riley Trust Fund. The reason why you guys wouldn't believe me is because if you go right now and enter in Jehovah's Witnesses, you're not going to find anything. So you're going to be like, oh, that guy was lying. But you know what they do is they use aliases. Aliases are other names, secondary names. So if you guys are smart, I mean, you guys are young, and I know I have 2 kids, right? They're into technology and all that. Henrietta M. Riley Trust Fund, you enter that on irs.com, .org. And guess what? In care of the Watchtower and Bible and Tract Society. So that means that information, the recipient of the money, goes to Watchtower. So once you look into it and you see companies like Lockheed Martin that make war machines and stuff like that the Watchtower invests in, they invest in tobacco companies, they invest in Google, you name it. You name it. Beer companies, there's a long list on the IRS's website. And I didn't know any of this when I was a Jehovah's Witness. I didn't know that they were making money off of these companies. I mean, I'm a business person. I own my own business. So I'm okay with making money, Everybody has to make money. But when you go preaching and you tell people that, hey, we don't participate in wars, we don't smoke, we're clean, because we feel that our bodies are the temple, stuff like that. But yet the Watchtower is making money off of the companies. To me, that's like hypocrisy. Like, it's like inexcusable. Like I can't believe it. Like when I found out, I couldn't believe it. So what I'm telling you is that there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that they don't tell you guys.
Yeah.
And when you guys go to your conventions and your meetings, and they tell you guys like, oh, you can't believe stuff that you read on the internet. Stay focused on what we provide to you. Of course, they'll only provide to you what they want you to know. This is like common sense, And anything else that is not too good, that they consider negative about them, they'll quickly tell you, oh, it's from apostates, you cannot believe it, stuff like that, And some of it is true, but a lot of it is not true. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't remember anything that we talked about the last time, because we talked a long time. Were you with your dad, or I can't remember. No? An older guy, though. No?
No. I go with my sister.
Was it your sister? I don't remember. And I gotta go, but one more thing. Mm-hmm. You know who Jeffrey Jackson is?
No.
Yes.
You don't know Jeffrey Jackson?
Who is it?
I don't know.
You can say it in Spanish, maybe I'll know.
Ungido?
Huh?
Ungido?
Governing body?
Yes.
Yeah, governing body. So she knows who Jeffrey Jackson is. Like, he gave testimony on the Australian Royal Commission. And some of the questions that he was asked, which like shocked me. Because they, like, at the Kingdom Hall, they would tell you guys that you guys have the truth, right? You guys are the only ones that have the truth.
Okay.
Yeah, they tell you guys that. But when he was asked the same question in court, he didn't say that. They asked him, are the Jehovah's Witnesses the only ones that have the truth, They were asking him for his opinion.
Based on the Bible, so.
Yeah.
So the Bible is the truth.
I know, but I mean, if
we're
you're...
not saying that our religion is the truth. We're saying the Bible is the truth. We're just following it.
I agree. But the question was specifically if Jeffrey Jackson, your governing body, felt like his religion had the truth. Mm-hmm. It was a very specific question. And instead of saying, yeah, we feel like we have the truth, he said, no, I'm not so presumptuous to believe that we're the only ones that have the truth. So when you see stuff like this, and it's on YouTube, it's on the internet, when you see video of your own governing body members telling people that in government, he's either lying or he's doing what you guys call theocratic warfare. You know what that means?
Yeah.
Talk more Spanish.
You more Spanish?
Yeah.
We're in the Spanish congregation.
Yeah, I know, but come on, man. You guys are born and raised here.
Yeah.
The words are different. Okay, let me just tell you. Theocratic warfare is something you guys, all Jehovah's Witnesses, do. It's lying, but you guys justify it by saying that you're lying to protect God's organization. So it's called theocratic warfare. So like, for example, Jeffrey Jackson, instead of being honest and say, yeah, we feel like we have the truth, he didn't. He said, we're not so presumptuous, meaning we're not so like sure of ourselves that we're the only ones that have the truth. There may be other churches out there that have the truth also. That was his answer. So that's what that's what you guys call theocratic warfare. That people who don't deserve to have the truth don't get it. They get a lie, but they call it theocratic warfare. I mean, I worked at Brooklyn Bethel doing construction for a while. You know, and when I was an active Jehovah's Witness, there was no internet. If I was young, like you guys, and still a Jehovah's Witness, man, the least you can do is to look into it, you know?
Yeah.
Because if you feel like you truly have the truth, why should you be afraid? You know, you investigate it, you convince yourself, oh, this is a lie, this is a lie, this is a lie, and guess what? You'll believe it even more into society and what you already believe in, right? It'll just strengthen your faith. But the least you can do is to not ignore it, because these people, the governing body, when they tell young people, oh, and it gives me a headache, because when they tell young people not to look at other sources, anything that is what they call critical of them, then that's wrong right there. That's wrong right there, because if I go to the car, if I want to buy a car, or if you want to buy your first car, are you going to buy the first one that you see at the dealership that you can afford? You'll be like, oh, I can afford this, but let me go see this other one too, right? To compare. Yeah. So it's the same thing with information, man. You go to school, in high school, they tell you to compare, right? That's part of your critical thinking, so you can make a determination. But if you're just getting something from one source, that's all you know, you cannot make a judgment for yourself. So I spent 35 years as a witness. 35 years, and all these things that I didn't know. And trust me, there's so much more, but I can't spit it all out. There's just too much information.
So you just like look at the organization? Or do you study the Bible?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like, do you study the Bible?
Do I study the Bible?
Yeah.